Okay, well, I have 10:03. Let me begin and be respectful of everyone's time. And Emma, I'll ask you to please just continue to admit everyone as they continue to connect. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning, Beth.
Morning. We have quite a lot of folks registered here and joining us this morning. So welcome to our session. Many of you know me. For those that do not, I'm Beth Pomper, and I'm Director of International Business Development for the state of Delaware. And my colleague Emma Potler is also running the session in the background, and Emma's available too on the line. Good morning, everyone. Well, I am pleased to roll out and announce our new state-funded export grant called the Compass Grant. I want to be sure that we answer everyone's questions. So please, we're going to have about 70 people on this session this morning. The session will be recorded, so you can look at it anytime you like. Please put your questions in the chat, and then at the end, I'll ask everyone to, unmute your mics and raise your hand. And please ask your question. I want to be sure that we answer it immediately as we roll along. So everyone, thank you for joining us, and let's talk about the new Compass Grant. For those of you who are new to our program, Export Delaware is an initiative of the Delaware Department of State. We are under Secretary of State Jeff Bullock's division, and we are the state's official export resource for Delaware's small and medium-sized businesses. So we do a variety of things, and we're always adapting and pivoting to update our programming to the times, to the world, and to pivot according to global situations to give you the most opportunities possible. So whether you're a new exporter or you're a well-established exporter like Stephen and Michael, our esteemed Delaware businesses on the line today, and you want to expand into other markets, there's something that we offer for you. So why should you export? Some of the most successful exporters are all of you, innovative small and medium-sized businesses. You're the backbone of America's economy. Small and medium-sized businesses account for 98% of all U.S. exporters. It's not the big companies of the world. Businesses that export have faster growing sales, create more jobs, and you're less likely to go out of business than those companies that do not export. Basically, it's not putting all your eggs in one basket. While U.S. sales are good and wonderful and very important to our economy, if you have a product that might be nearing its maturity or that's older in the market here, chances are it's new and improved somewhere else. Or it will obviously increase your customer base, because 95% of the world doesn't live here in the United States. So you want to take advantage of markets, whether they're even close to home, like Canada or the Caribbean, that many of us may not think of initially when it comes to exporting. So what do? We offer export counseling to companies. We provide training for women and minority-owned businesses. We have a global supplier diversity program. that we have launched. We are the first nationally to do so, the first state. We offer international business trips for our Delaware businesses. We have a team of Export Delaware trade representatives around the world. Right now, we have 14 trade offices serving over 50 countries. And these offices have actual staff and boots on the ground serving these countries that I work with our teams and all of you when we want to find new customers, clients, or distributors for our businesses in a particular country. And the final component, while you're all here today, is we do offer grant funding to support our initiatives. This is a photo of a recent, trade, I guess it was about maybe a year and a half ago, a business trip to Cairo, Egypt. You can see some of our Delaware businesses, and in the center, you have our lead team rep, Hossam Laheta from Cairo, and David Garay from Morocco, who handles the Northern Africa Maghreb region for us. And this was a business meeting where we met with the Arab national states. Training. Our Global Supplier Diversity Initiative is an export workshop for women, minority, and veteran-owned businesses through a partnership that we have with the World Trade Center of Greater Philadelphia. Happy to say that we graduated 18 companies last spring. What's unique about this program is we instruct you how to leverage your women or minority-owned or veteran-owned certification to enter the global supply chains of the Fortune 500 companies. So here, you're getting export training on how to export your product, or service, but for those that qualify, you're actually learning something more. And we do this with partners from corporate America. This year, we had Corteva, we had Bristol Myers Squibb, we had Aramark, we had a lot of local multinationals that are looking to purchase from people like you. And don't feel that if you're a small business, you can't supply a multinational. Yes, you can. Perhaps on a tier 2 level, where you will be a supplier to one of their primary vendors, or you will supply maybe a division of a multinational in one particular country. And we leverage this also when we go on our international business trips. So if appropriate, we will arrange meetings for you with a supplier diversity director for a Fortune 5 in that country. And they're always eager and welcome to meet with all of you. Now, it's not a free pass. You have to have the right product or service, the right price, something different to offer them. You don't automatically get an appointment, but we teach you how to pitch and how to change your sales presentation to be appealing to a buyer of a Fortune 5 overseas. So really, this also helps you both ways, obviously with your export, but it also provides you contacts to help boost your domestic sales as well. So it's kind of like, a buy one, get one free kind of a program. The next initiative that we offer is we partner with DMAP, the Delaware Manufacturing Extension Partnership, to offer export tech. The U.S. Commercial Service also plays a key role in that, as do several other speakers and area partners that change according to the types of companies that register for this. And here you actually learn and leave with an executable international marketing plan specific for your business. It's a roadmap. It's a big world out there. So you can't just apply for a Compass grant and not have an export plan or an export strategy. If you say, I'd like to go to, for purposes of conversation, let's say the UK. Well, why? Well, because I'm from the UK and I want to look around. No, that's not a good reason or a good use of taxpayer money. We have to understand, and you need to have a roadmap as to how you're going to sell and promote your business. Now, what we do use this funding to help buy down the tuition for export tech. Export tech is the only thing that you'll see in this myriad of services that there is a fee for. We provide grants to our businesses up to $1,500 per company, so that the tuition then is a $500 out-of-pocket cost that is payable to DMAT, not to the state. We can't collect money. We're not interested in making money off of any of you. We just want to set you up for success. So even more established companies have participated in this program. So if you get new staff and you want them to learn, or if you want to look at new markets, it's always great. And this session will begin, it will be 6 4-hour virtual sessions, with the first starting the end of February. And you can look for additional details coming, and a registration package for anyone that's interested. If you can reach out and let us know. We'll also be including it in our newsletter so that those interested can apply and be considered. So if you are interested in any of the export training, selling to the world, we use our funding to pay the full tuition for this, but you have to be selected. Please, I encourage all of you to apply, and we will consider everyone equally, and we encourage all of you to participate. Again, spots are limited because our budget is healthy, but it is limited, and we do like to accommodate as many folks as possible. Our international business trips tend to be very successful. Right now, we are running a Northeast international business trip to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic in February, and that one is at capacity. Then we are doing a business trip to Thailand and the Philippines, kicking off the business week of March 11th. And finally, we will be doing a business trip to Italy in May. Now, this program, from what I'm showing you now for a trade show calendar, these are our plans between now and June 30th, okay? Because these are state funds. So we have to follow a state calendar, not a federal calendar. Many of you that have worked with Export Delaware before are familiar with this STEP grant, which is a federal grant. This is a state program. So what we have done is we have taken the federal STEP grant and we have turned it into a state-funded program for this year. And the reason we did that was to give all of you greater flexibility. Obviously, with any government, there are rules that we all have to be follow, to follow, because it's taxpayer money. We have to be responsible, transparent, and clear. But state rules are a bit more flexible than federal rules. And that's what I want to get into. So we will be releasing a new trade show calendar for programming that will take place July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of next year, 2025. And that will come out probably in May. But this is what is on the books for the remainder of the state fiscal year. Now, how do we do our trade business trips? We try to select those companies that are most appropriate for a market. Sometimes companies apply for a business trip or a trade mission with us for a country, and we really feel that their product or service maybe just isn't quite right for that particular country. We're honest, we'll tell you. We don't want to waste anybody's time or money. And we'll say, well, gee, we really don't think this is the right country, but maybe this one is, because we want you to be successful. I will let all of you know, unlike many nonprofit programs, the secret to Delaware's success is plain and simple. We take a government program and we run it like a business. We are not judged by the number of meetings we set up for you. We're judged by purchase orders. What are your sales? We want you all to get sales. If you get sales, you'll expand, you'll hire employees in the state, you'll ultimately create jobs here in our state in Delaware. And most importantly, for those of you that are in our state, we want you to stay in our state. So we want you to directly benefit from our programs. We will never do anything where we don't think you all can make money. It's not, oh, we're going to introduce you to 10 people. Well, I don't care about introducing you to 10 people. I want to introduce you to people that have a checkbook, that have money to buy what you have to sell. And if that's 3 people and they have the ability to purchase from you, that's important. So we'll work with you to achieve that success. So these business trips are very expensive to do for the state and for any state. I will let you all know, to my knowledge, Delaware is the only state that does not charge our small businesses a fee to participate in these. We are unique. So, but that's why we have to be very careful as to who we approve to join the trip. Again, we have to be responsible with taxpayer money. So We will work with you to determine the best entry strategy for your company, whether it's finding a partner, a distributor, a customer. We pay for interpreters if it is a non-English speaking country to go with you on your business meetings. We pay for cars and drivers to take you to your appointments. We do not pay for meals, and we provide a travel stipend via this Compass grant, which is a predetermined amount per trade trip, per trade mission, that is a reimbursement to you. So if you would have, let's say, a $500 hotel bill, this Compass grant would reimburse you half of that, just like the federal program did. But the major difference for all of you that have worked with us before on the federal program, and this is why I like our state program so much, part of the reason. With state money, you do not have to fly a US airline. That is a big deal, because many of the countries that our Delaware businesses choose to visit just aren't well serviced by American carriers. Or an American airline sometimes is considerably more expensive than a foreign airline. And under the federal program, the rules are the rules. We don't have any latitude. You'd have to fly that US carrier. With the state, no. So that is a major, major difference. And this state funding now provides us flexibility. For example, in November, we had a trade mission scheduled to go to the Middle East, to go to Cairo and Morocco. With the unfortunate situation in the Middle East, we had to postpone that business trip for obvious reasons. Well, with the federal program, that would have been very difficult to have reallocated all of the funds in time. With the state program, we can adapt to situations in the world and use that money to offer all of you additional grant money or another business trip or more training, other opportunities. So it does make a big difference. Okay. You can see we have got foreign trade representative offices around the world to assist all of you in your international business efforts. And I'm very happy to let you all know that just last week, I have brought on a new addition to our Export Delaware family in Poland. So we now will have an office in Poland, and that office will cover Poland, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. So I think that could be very, very interesting. So as you can see, we are in many, many, many places around the world. I will let all of you know that what I look for in a Delaware trade office, I look for staff that have the kind of experience that mirror the kinds of products or services that all of you offer. So many of our companies are in life science or in the technical field. So you'll see that many of our offices are staffed with engineers or life science professionals. people that can really work with us to get in and talk product application to get you the kinds of appointments that you need with key decision makers who have money to purchase what you're offering. Now, the Compass Grant. Now, again, please keep in mind, this is from now till June 30th. So you may be eligible to receive up to $10,000 per state fiscal year of our Compass Grant funds. So this is a reimbursement program at the 50% level for certain things that are eligible. Now, this is just a small sampling of the kinds of things that are eligible under the state program. If you go to our website, you'll see a full list. Now, just because it's not on the list doesn't mean we can't make it eligible. Marketing is not an exact science. So if you have an idea and you want us to consider it for eligibility, just reach out to us and ask, okay? But just to give all of you an idea, booth fees for exhibiting at an international trade show. Okay, this is an international trade show overseas. Granted, there are some shows in the United States that are deemed as international shows that have a large number of international visitors. If you want to use the Compass Grant for a domestic show conducted in the US and you want to know if it's eligible, you're going to need to write the name of that show on your application and give us a website, and we need to see a visitor profile because we have to be able to demonstrate that there was a large number of international visitors, because this is not funding to help boost your domestic business, it's your international. Okay, travel expenses. Another difference here. Travel expenses such as hotel, coach class airfare, medical insurance for when you travel. Very important for all of you to know. Our US health insurance doesn't work overseas. So if you get sick overseas, if you slip and fall and break a bone, or you have to go to the hospital, the foreign hospital isn't going to bill Aetna or Blue Cross or Keystone or whatever your health insurance is. It doesn't work. So it's always good in this day and age to spend a few $100s and consider purchasing travel insurance for a particular trip, just so you're covered. It's not very expensive. It goes by your age and the value of your trip. So because this is a state program, we're allowing this because this is a legitimate expense. And we'll also allow visa expenses. Okay? If a visa is required for you to go to Vietnam or to another, country of interest, visas can get expensive depending on where you'd like to go. With the state program, we can allow visa expenses. Fees to work with the US Commercial Service, our partners here. I believe Tony Pooh and Tony Ceballos are on the call here, and they offer also several programs like International Partner Search or market research. we will certainly deem that as eligible. Fees associated with obtaining your CE mark, expenses for translating your product manual into another language, expenses for optimizing your website for a foreign market, international search engine optimization. So that way, if a client maybe in China, let's say, wants to purchase your product and they would type in the search bar, you want to have yours come towards the top. And we do have an entire Delaware online program, and we do have a partner that we can introduce you to. You don't have to work with that partner, but they do great work, and they've worked with many of our businesses that can handle that for you. I do see a question. What about conferences? Will we allow conferences for this grant? Again, I would say typically not, because we have to demonstrate sales. I would urge you to ask me, because I understand some of you in the scientific community sell your products at conferences. So for those where that may be applicable, please ask me, and I can tell you that I will take it under consideration, and the state will take that under consideration. And we will get back to you. If it is just a general education conference, no. Because we can't tie sales or a purchase order to that. And that's what we need to do. But I would welcome that, and I would welcome working with all of you that would like us to consider that. So I think on a case-by-case basis, if you would kindly just reach out, let us know what you're thinking. We'll certainly take it under consideration, but we can't put a blanket statement that every single conference is eligible, because that would not be appropriate. But these are just some of the things that you can use the funding for. Now, it's at a 50% reimbursement level. Why are my slides frozen? My goodness. Bear with me, everyone. I apologize. Here we go. How does it work? The same way that the federal program worked. You need to apply. Our application is found online, okay? And it is on our Export Delaware website. So it's export.delaware, spelled out. The full state name is spelled out, .gov, okay? In the upper ribbon, you would want to click on Compass Grant, and you apply online. Now, I will urge all of you, your applications have to be complete. We are a small staff. We want to provide service to all of you. So we have all of this to process, and we have our international business program work to do. We do not have time to chase everyone on multiple occasions per application to complete your grant application. If your grant application is incomplete, then you'll get a note from us that you have to complete it. It cannot be evaluated until it's complete. So, what do people do that typically slows up the grant application? So again, I want to set you up for success and let you know some pitfalls. If you are applying to travel to go to a trade show or to visit customers or distributors overseas, you must list the cities that you will be traveling to, the estimated dates, because your grant award will be based on the number of days that you will be staying in that city. And the most we can award is up to half of the maximum federal allowance for that city. So if the maximum allowance for a hotel in Paris is $300 a night, your grant award, the most we could give you would be half of $300 or $150 a night. Okay. And it's all based on that. So if you send me a application and you're going, let's say, to a country and you want to go for 5 or 6 weeks, no, we can't give that kind of funding for that length of time for hotels. I'll be brutally honest with you. We do know we have a nice budget, but it does have a limit. So we don't, and we cannot in good conscience give companies awards to go to markets where they maybe just want to do prospecting or look around and pay your trip. It doesn't work that way. You have to have an export plan or strategy, more than what's in your head. You have to, work with us or one of our partners to get that strategy. If you don't have one, that's okay. We've got something for you. You can participate in our export training that would be forthcoming. Because once again, we want to work you through all the bugs and set you up for success. So your application has to be approved before you spend the money. So we don't just give you the money up front. Kind of think of it like a company expense account where you would apply, we give you an award, let's say for $3,000. You would get an award letter from us that I urge all of you to read, because it does have details in there, that have to be followed. And you'll see what you're approved for. Then it's okay for you to go ahead and incur that expense. So if you buy your airline ticket before you get an approval letter from Export Delaware, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to reimburse you. Okay? So you have to apply and get approved. Then you have to complete the work, whether, let's say, you're paying the Department of Commerce to do some work for you, or you're having your website translated. You have to complete the work before June 30th, and you have to pay for it. Again, a little different than the federal. You have to pay for it before June 30th. Okay? Then you submit your documents to us for reimbursement, and they're submitted via email. So we need 3 things to reimburse everybody. You need an invoice to the state for whatever the amount is. You need the actual bill that you're paying, and you need proof that you paid that bill. So that is either a copy of your credit card statement, a copy of your bank statement. You could please black out all the other transactions on your bank statement. We're not interested in getting into your business. We just need to see the one line that you paid for what you said you paid for. That's what we have to demonstrate. So very simple. It's not a big deal, but if the right documentation isn't provided, we are unable to reimburse anyone. And again, that will slow down your reimbursement. because we do our best to work with everyone to the best of our ability to help you submit the right paperwork. But obviously, if you submit the right paperwork the first time, you're going to get reimbursed a lot quicker. If we have to chase you and work with you for 3 weeks, that takes time away that we can be helping other Delaware businesses. So it will slow your reimbursement up. Okay, so we can reimburse quickly. We have reimbursed companies in as little as 7 days, I believe, 7 business days. And then some companies take much longer to submit correct paperwork. And some companies, if we have to chase you for months, that's how long it takes. So basically, it's very simple. It's just what you would have to submit to your own company for reimbursement. It's happy to help all of you. We do provide examples on this as well. So to qualify for a Compass grant, your business has to be small or medium size and meet the size requirements of the SBA. And we do like you to have at least 51% US content. We do have a little bit of flexibility there, again, because it is state funds, but that is our goal. These grants are not given to educational institutions or large businesses because they don't need the funding support. We want to give as much money as we can to all of you. So as you all know, Delaware is a bit unique because the world's incorporated here. So to get a Compass grant, you can't just be incorporated in Delaware. You have to be operating in Delaware at a Delaware street address. You have to have an office here or a sales office or something. If you are a Illinois company, you're headquartered, your office is in Illinois and you're incorporated in Delaware, you are not eligible for our state funds. You have to be in business at least a year, have an export plan, and be determined export ready by Export Delaware. What is export ready? We get this question a lot. An export ready business is really one that has the capacity, resources, and management to deliver a marketable product or service to foreign countries at a competitive price or a price appropriate for that market. So we want you to have a developed product or service, an established business model. Are you selling already here in the US or perhaps in another country? And an established international market entry strategy. Okay? If you're a startup business and you don't have any sales yet in the US or an export plan, this is not the program for you for the grant. Now, we will, of course, we don't like to turn anyone away, and we don't. We will still refer you to another one of our partners, perhaps the SBDC, who's also on the call, to help early stage companies develop an export plan. Or you are certainly welcome to apply and be included in our future training. How do we decide who gets the money and who gets what? This is a big question. Again, we don't have a bottomless pit. Our budget is limited. So they're very competitive. So we look at all the different applicants on a rolling basis. And we provide the funding to those companies who we feel have the greatest chance for success and for the greatest return on investment. Again, we have to justify these are taxpayer funds, that we spent the money wisely and we gave it to companies that are serious and have a commitment to export. Okay, this is not funding given for people to take a trip somewhere and maybe just, kick some tires in a market. We want you to be ready and committed to export. Okay, so the applications are completed online at www.export.delaware.gov. So please you're all urged and welcome to complete an application. Again, once the money's gone, it's gone. So I urge you to apply for what you think you will honestly use. Some companies apply for $10,000 and might only use $2,000. Well, that means that $8,000 remaining is money that you didn't spend that could have been used by another Delaware business. And I'm going to say that if we give you a grant award and you don't use it, we track that too. So that will hinder the amount of award that we'll be able to give you next year. We want all of you, if we give you an award, we give it for a reason. We want you to use what you're given. So if you think, back to the application, if you think in your application that your total expenses, let's say for a trade show, are $10,000 for a booth, on your grant application, you won't apply for $10,000 of grant funds. You'll apply for half of that, $5,000. So your expense is $10,000, but you're asking the state to consider you for a $5,000 award. So I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Your application should be 50% of whatever you think your expenses are going to be between now and the end of June. This is our contact information, our phone number. Emma and I make every effort to get back to everyone as quickly as possible. You will see some delays perhaps in your reimbursements or in your grant application processing. Should your application hit at a time where I may be overseas, obviously. But for those companies that are new, and we're very happy to have you join us and join our Export Delaware family. If we don't know you, we will be sending you with your application a readiness assessment questionnaire to complete, just some general information for us. And also, we may be, if we still have further questions, we may invite you, of course, to have a call with us to answer any questions we may have, because we want to get in the weeds with all of you and set you all up for success and make sure that you're applying and that you're plugged into the right program offering, whether it's with the state or with one of our esteemed partners. So that being said, I'm going to just look at the questions in the chat for a moment so that I can answer everybody's questions. And let's see. And then, of course, we will invite everyone to unmute and ask them freely. Okay. Let's see. Emma, I believe you've answered many of these questions.
Towards the beginning,
Go ahead.
yeah, Ken and Accudine have a couple of questions that I have not answered yet, and Stephanie Rosenberg has her hand raised.
Okay, so Accudine, Accudine, unmute your microphone. I see it says, do the funds cover multiple employees or just one? No, the funds cover travel for one representative of the company. We are not covering multiple employees at this time, and we do that in an effort to spread the funding around to give as many Delaware companies an opportunity to benefit. Let's see. Stephanie, what was your question? Do you want to unmute your line?
Sure, can you hear me?
I can.
You know I always have a question.
Oh, that's good.
So first of all, I saw that lodging can be up to 150% of the federal per diem rate, so thank you for that. The other thing is you mentioned that we're gonna be working on the state fiscal cycle, so it's now that June and July. So my question is, as we go throughout a calendar year, if we're gonna be applying for activities that are gonna happen throughout the year, should we only submit an application for an activity that's going to end and be able to be invoiced in June, and then wait to submit a separate application for something that's going to happen, for example, in August after July 1?
Okay, so let me answer that. Okay, the answer is a little bit of both. So I recognize that you all have to purchase trade show space in advance.
Right.
So if a trade show was in September, you can't wait till July and buy a booth. So we will defer to the federal and rule on that, and we will say that trade shows space can be purchased up to 1 year prior to the date of that trade show. So if you're doing a trade show, let's say in November, and you've got to buy the space in June, then you should submit this current application. Now, for the travel for that trade show, Stephanie, if the travel is going to take place July 1st, that would be under next year's application.
Okay.
Now let me.
We could just do it at the estimate though for what the travel would be. We just can't book the ticket.
Well, I can't approve travel on taking place next fiscal year on this current application.
Okay.
See what I mean?
So if it's in like July 15th, the activity, then you'd have to wait till July 1st to book your ticket.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a question that I will have to bring back to the state controller.
Okay.
I leave that with us and let me get back to you on that, because that's going to be her call.
Okay. All right.
Okay. For everyone that's on the line, we do have, I believe, a couple $1,000s remaining of federal funds. So for those of you that have not hit your maximum of $10,000 on the federal and have something that you want to do between now and the end of September, please reach out to us privately, because we would have a way to perhaps offer you that remaining federal money. Okay, let's see, any other questions?
Beth, we have one from Creating a Life Without Limits, which is, if you remember, CUSA Athletics Apparel, and they're asking, is this program open to the apparel industry?
The program is open to everyone of all industries, whether it's a product or a service, as long as you have a physical operation in the state of Delaware. We have a question too. What percentage of a company must be women or minority owned in order to take advantage of the global supplier diversity training? For this, we defer to, of course, the federal and the rule that the Fortune 500 follow. And that is 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a women or minority person, or veteran, or service disabled veteran. If you are not certified, we will work with you to help you get certified. I will tell you that there are only 2 certifications that are accepted internationally by the Fortune 5. And they are the certifications of the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council and the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. Those seeking more, wanting to learn more, please just reach out. We'll help you get certified and put you in the right place, in good hands. Okay. Who else?
Beth, did you see the question from Ken Cleveland? Are expenses associated with shipping demonstration equipment for the purpose of evaluation by a serious and funded prospects, is that covered?
Ken, I have just a question on that to follow up, if you could unmute.
Sure, Beth.
Thanks, Ken. Shipping your demo unit, would it be to ship it over and then return it, or to ship it over and leave it there?
It could be either. My initial thought is for it to be returned. It's a piece of new technology.
Yeah.
Potentially going to large, actually it would be Fortune 500 companies that have interest in this technology.
I would have no problem with that. I would have no problem with that. I will clear that with our controller, but I have no problem with that. I don't foresee a problem there.
Okay, thank you. And there might be some other issues that I'll need to talk to you about that offline.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
That's fine. Who else has a question? Let me see. I want to make sure that we get to everyone, because we want to help all of you participate. A question, do we have a higher priority or more funding for certain countries? No, we don't. We treat all countries equally. Our only concern is that you have an opportunity to succeed in the market that you're selecting. Yes, the application is on a rolling basis. So apply for what you think you'll need. And if, it's on a rolling basis until the money's fully allocated and the money runs out. Okay, so if we run out, in a month, we'll start a wait list. And we'll say we're fully allocated and we're starting a wait list. And because we've asked you to apply online, your applications are electronically date stamped. So we go by who was first, okay? But just because you're first doesn't mean you're going to get a grant. You have to be first and you have to make sense, okay? And it has to be a good use of our ROI. I will let you all know that our program is among the top 8 nationally in terms of results. So we beat California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, a lot of states that have a lot more staff in terms of results and sales for our businesses. So we don't want to, mislead anyone. We want to work with you to make you successful. Does anybody else have a question? Am I missing anyone?
Accudine just submitted another question. If the country representatives connect us to a foreign company, does this mean that the company has been vetted?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Would you unmute yourself and ask me directly? I'm not sure what you're asking me.
They had mentioned their microphone isn't working. So I think they mean if one of our foreign trade reps bring them a lead, has it been vetted?
Yes.
And I would say yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't guarantee that they're a perfect client fit, but they have been vetted. Yes.
Right. Exactly. What we do is I tell everybody, if you participate in one of our international business trips, I cannot guarantee that everyone we arrange for you to meet is going to buy, because a lot of that is up to you. You've got to present yourself, your services, your pricing, your support to that company overseas. But I can promise that we'll put you in front of the right people to take a look. Now, it's like anything else. If you went and you had business meetings in Delaware or Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and you had 10 business meetings, not all 10 people are going to be perfect or are going to want to purchase from you. Our goal for every business trip is to have a few that will be of interest for you to vet. Some of the folks on this call have had a good problem where we just came back from a recent business trip in Mexico, and one of our Delaware business, I said, how were your appointments? Did you find any potential distributors? Well, they all were so good. Now I have to decide. So we try to do our best. We will work with you and our teams to put together a long list of unqualified prospects to do the market research. We present it to you and we say, okay, now rank them. What are your priorities? Priority A, B, C. Okay. Then we will go after your leading priorities and present your company to see if they're interested in meeting with you. We do, if it is a non-English speaking country, we do work to have your sales presentation a reasonable limit to marketing material and to your presentation translated into the native language so that we can actually present you first. And if that client says, yes, I'm interested in a meeting, well, that really maximizes our success rate. They know why you're there, what you're offering, and if they say they want to give you an hour of their time, they're interested. Okay. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Beth, there's one last one from Akidine. Can this grant be used for travel to existing clients? For example, we have a contract with them, but expect some business trips in 2024 prior to June for project-related items such as installation. That's a good question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For existing clients, for existing distributors, you just wouldn't set up a distributor network and never go and visit them. They have to be maintained for them to continue to do a good job promoting your products. If you have to go to a country and do distributor sales training, if you want to do, let's say ride-alongs on sales calls with a distributor in another market, yes, 100% yes, absolutely.
I think that's it, Beth, for questions.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, well, please, I want to thank all of you for your time today. Again, this is not an exact science marketing. So if you have an idea, like Ken, you asked me about, shipping for demos. Stephanie, you asked about certain conferences. Okay, it's the state. So we have a little bit of wiggle room. Ask us. If we don't have an answer, we'll get one for you, one way or another. So this is the advantage of the state program. And again, we're not going to say never. We may continue to offer, federal funds moving forward and have two sources of funding. But for right now, our Secretary of State has agreed and has chosen to give us and give all of you the flexibility that you need to do business and be successful. So this will be recorded. Emma will get this up in the next week or so. And we look forward to answering any other questions that you may have along the way. So thank you. Everyone have a great day and best wishes for happy holidays.
Thank you, Beth. Well done.
Thank
you. Emma also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Sure.
And Emma.
My pleasure.